Did you know the FBI believes there are as many as 25 serial killers active at any given time? However, the Murder Accountability Project believes that number to be closer to 2,000. Welcome. I'm Jay.
I'm T.
We are Fatal Blend.
This is where we talk about two things we absolutely love. A little bit of coffee and a lot of true crime. Specifically, serial killers.
Yep, sure do. And here we are again.
There we are.
And
If I did my math right, this episode should be dropping right after Christmas. Like the day after Christmas.
Well,
so if I'm correct, Merry
happy
Christmas.
holidays, everybody.
I don't like in my brain. I'm trying because we're pre-recording because we're going on vacation. And so I'm pre-recording these and I'm like, wait a minute. If I did the math right, this is the one that drops like right after Christmas. So
Drop.
You're welcome.
Well, and I hope everybody had a great holiday. Whatever holiday you celebrate at this time of year. What's most important is take your time, spend it with family, spend it with friends, spend it not working. Yeah.
Not everybody has that luxury, unfortunately.
I know. But, for those who do, enjoy it.
True. I don't really have much to say. Like, there's nothing that I have too crazy to get into because our world is in such a crazy, weird place that I don't really have. There's like a million things I could bring up, and we have like, I don't know.
Yeah, and to be honest, we don't want to get wrapped up in all that crap.
I don't.
I mean, on a good note, we will most likely in a following episode, maybe 2 episodes, because we will just be getting back from Tennessee where we're vacationing up in the mountains. And we should have a lot to talk about then.
You and Sierra.
Should be something cool.
She literally said that on the last one that I recorded with her. She was like, next time you hear us after this episode, we'll have more to tell you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it just makes you laugh.
Yeah.
Like father, like daughter.
Hey, we're going to do some cool stuff. We're going to hit up Dollywood. We're going to hit up the Titanic Museum,
Mm-hmm.
the Alcatraz 2 Museum.
Which is a true crime museum.
And I'm going to see an old boss while I'm over there. Which
I'm
is
not.
weird.
I'm not. I'm going to be hanging out with my
Ooh,
family.
we're going to find a pub to go to.
Fun. Anyways.
So, but while we're over there, we're going to be drinking just like now. And what is it that you're drinking?
Oh, well, today I am just drinking an iced coffee. Good old iced coffee with some sugar-free brown sugar syrup and a little tiny bit of sugar-free caramel.
Well, I'm going to give a shout out to my people at Revive. I don't know if any of them listen to it. If they do, there's shout outs for you. Because I am drinking a pumpkin chai with 2 shots of espresso. And if you could wrap up like the Halloween, autumn type of vibe into a cup, this would be it. It's scrumptious.
Yeah, that'd be where it's at.
What's not scrumptious is this next guy we're talking about. So, and I totally said this next guy we are talking about.
So shall we get into it?
We shall. That's why we're here.
Uh-huh. Okay, so we're talking about Harry Powers.
I almost thought you were going to say Harry Potter. Potter.
He is nicknamed Cornelius O. Pearson. He's also nicknamed A.R. Weaver. He's also nicknamed Mail Order Bluebeard. And he's nicknamed the West Virginia Bluebeard.
And for those people who don't know out there, little thing about Bluebeard is a man who marries and kills one wife after another. So you think about Bluebeard would be like, what do they call him? A black widow for a woman who marries and kills.
And this is not the first Bluebeard we've done.
No.
So
I know some of you are thinking they have a Bluebeard because that's what I thought.
I just think
unfortunately,
of pirates.
No.
Because that's what you said the first time we did a Bluebeard. You're like, good old Bluebeard. Like
old Bluebeard.
Yeah, and it does make me think of a pirate, but yeah.
Well, and I thought maybe he was a pirate, but then now that we have another one, I figured I'd do a little bit of my own research.
Okay, so anyways, yeah. So those are his nicknames. He has 5 or more victims.
Of course.
This happened in 1931 in Quiet Dell, West Virginia. His method of murder was hanging and bludgeoning with a hammer. And a characteristic of his murders was murder for financial gain.
Getting that money.
Okay, so let's get into it. So Harry Powers was actually born Herman Drenthe. And he was born in the Netherlands in 1893. Now in 1910, he immigrates with his family to the United States. And they first live in Iowa. Then they moved to West Virginia in 1926. Now, his father is a farmer, and Harry did not want to be anything like his dad. Not because his dad was a bad person, but he wanted a better way of life. He didn't want to be a farmer. He didn't want to work hard like that.
I can understand that.
He began to think of other ways that he could potentially make money. So he wanted a better way of life. So he began to think of many different ways that he could make money that were not farming. Now, he made himself Harry Powers after he moved to Quiet Dell, West Virginia. And when he moved there and became and created Harry Powers, he would tell people that he was an oil stock promoter.
You know, I've realized after doing a bunch of these stories is that it was really easy to change your name back in the day. You're just like, meh, I'm going to be called something else. So here you go.
Yep. That's how it be sometimes. So then in 1927, Harry meets a woman named Luella. Now,
I was hoping for Sally.
Luella's a good name.
Luella's a great name.
I like that name.
I like that one.
He meets her through a Lonely Hearts column. Now, people who have been listening to us for a while, this is not the first Lonely Hearts column
Lonely
case
Hearts was
either.
the place to be, apparently, if you were a serial killer.
Right? So she had actually stated in the column that she owned a grocery store and a farm, which this is what attracted Harry to her because she owned things. So she had money.
Yeah, I heard grocery store and farm. It was like cha-ching.
Yeah. So they do end up actually getting married. Now, even though he's married, it does not stop him from putting his own ads into the Lonely Hearts column magazine. And he actually would receive as many as 20 letters a day from these ads that he was putting into
Damn, there's some needy ass women back then. Calm down, ladies. Calm down.
He of course would not use his real name in the ads, right? So he'd have his own like personas, and he would actually create new personas for each one of his like ads, and then nobody could ever actually know who he really was.
See, and then back then, if he receives, like 20, it's like letters in the mail. Yeah. They didn't have internet. They didn't have, text messaging. This is like, if I'm a wife, I'm like, why is the mailbox blowing up so much?
I know, right? So during this time, he also decides that it's a good time because, again, he's now married to Luella, who actually has money. And he's like, okay, well, now is the time to add a garage to the home, and we'll put a basement on the home because I have another idea of a way that I can make money, but I need my own personal space to be able to do this. So I'm gonna create my own workspace. So he does that.
I need you to build a garage that I can kill you in.
Well, he doesn't kill Luella, so
okay.
no, you're wrong. But no, he basically he's coming up with his own ways to make money, and he needs more space to do it. So he builds this garage, builds a basement. Now, he's writing, again, lots of letters to lots of different women. Well, one in particular was a woman named Asta Eicher, and he was using the alias Cornelius O. Pearson. Now, Asta was a widow, and she had 3 children who lived with her, and they lived in Park Ridge, Illinois. And remember, he's in West Virginia. So on June 23rd of 1931, Harry goes to Illinois and visits Asta. Now, during this time, he also is telling his wife that he's going on business trips. So when he goes and meets up with people, he's going to these things, but he's telling her this, which, by the way, double lives back in the fucking 30s, I feel like was very common for men in particular to have literal like 2 whole ass families.
Well, yeah, because the wife stayed at home. So.
Right. So he goes and he visits Asta. Well, while he's there, he talks to her about going away on a romantic getaway. And she's like, okay, yeah, of course. So she leaves her 3 children with a woman named Elizabeth Abernathy, and she goes away with him. Well, then Elizabeth ends up getting a letter in the mail from Asta. It could be Asta, but I don't know. And it says that Harry is actually going to come and get the children because she's going to marry Harry and she's going to live with him. And so she's basically in their new home where they're going to live, getting things ready, and he's going to come pick up her children.
Like, is this first meeting?
No, remember they met, they went away together.
Yeah. But I'm like, while they were away?
Yeah, while they were away, she sends a
how
letter.
long were they gone for?
A while.
This guy moves.
A while.
Quick.
He shows up and he's like, hey, yeah, I'm here to get the kids. And so she's like, yeah, okay, here you go. So she gives him the kids. Well, then he takes the kids, and she has 2 daughters and a son. He has the son go into the bank with a check that it's a check to withdraw basically all of the money that Asta had in her account because they're moving. But Asta's not there. So she had given him this check, signed it, gave it to him, whatever. So he tells the son, you need to go in, tell him that you guys are moving and get the money. He's like, okay. So the son goes in, and the bank teller takes one look at the kid and looks at the check and is like, that looks like a fraudulent signature. That doesn't even look like her signature. So nope, I'm not going to give you any money. And so to that, Harry's like, fine, we're out of here. So he takes the kids and he abruptly leaves. Like, I'm gone. We're out of here. Now Harry tells the neighbors that they're all going on a trip to Europe. That's where they're going. And Asta and her children are never found. They're never to be seen again. Sometime a little later, Harry begins corresponding with a woman named Dorothy Lemke. Now, Dorothy lives in Northborough, Massachusetts. Now, after writing multiple letters back and forth, Harry convinces her to come to Iowa to marry him. So he wants to meet her in Iowa. Again, he lives in West Virginia, but Iowa's where it's at. So he tells her, like, hey, come meet me. Let's get married. So she does actually end up getting persuaded by his letters. And so she is going to meet him. Well, while they're meeting and talking and getting to know each other, he actually persuades her to withdraw a very large amount of money from her bank accounts for him, which is the tune of like $4,000, which back in the fucking 30s was a lot of money.
Yeah.
So she was willing to give it to him. She also ends up disappearing just like Asta and her children. So she's not heard from either. However, during this time that this is all going on, the police has already started to investigate the disappearance of Asta and her 3 children because, again, Elizabeth Abernathy watched her children, gave her children to this man, and then never heard from them again. And the bank tellers.
Yeah, so she's like, red flags.
Right, and the bank tellers.
You can't check security cameras.
Right.
Because they don't exist.
Exactly. And but even the banker is like, yeah, her son came in here with a check that definitely was not her signature. And then he left and said they're all going to Europe. So they start looking into all this stuff. They talk to people who knew her or know her, finding out anything about her kids, anything about her. They also find out that the last person to have contact with her was someone named Cornelius O. Pearson. And so they're like, well, that's where we're going to start. So they start to look for Cornelius. Well, they figure out pretty quickly that there is nobody that exists by that name in the area. However, they do talk to people like Elizabeth, who gives a description of the man. Well, this is what he looks like. And they realize, oh, that matches Harry Powers. We'll go talk to Harry Powers. We don't know why he's calling himself Cornelius, but you're literally talking about Harry Powers.
How the hell did they know who Harry Powers was?
Well, I'm thinking the area, it's a small town.
Okay.
I mean,
that
Quiet Dell, West Virginia doesn't sound like a really,
Hey, West Virginia could be popping back in the day. We don't know.
Actually, to be fair, she was in Park Ridge, Illinois. So I don't know how they figured it out, but they did. Maybe they had pictures. I don't freaking know. But somehow, some way, they are able to link Harry Powers to Cornelius. They actually go to talk to him. And when they do, they decide they're going to arrest him. Probably because he was acting really weird.
Yeah.
And the fact that his name's Harry Powers and he was pretending to be Cornelius. So they arrest him for the disappearance of Asta and her family.
And I'm guessing this isn't the arrest that ends all of it, so.
You would be wrong.
Bum, bum, bum.
You would be wrong. So they decide to arrest him. They take him in and they beat the fucking shit out of him.
Oh, well now, you old flatfoot.
They beat the shit. Like I saw a picture of him. I saw a picture of him and I kept looking at this picture and I was like, what the fuck? Because in my book, I have like a drawing, like it shows me a drawing of who the person is. And then when I looked up the articles, it's like this dude with like these round, like Harry Potter glasses. And then there's a picture of him. He's like standing like next to a jail cell. And he looks like, he looks like the guy from Goonies.
God damn, they beat the brakes off his ass.
And it's like he's super swollen. And I read the caption is like, this is a picture of Harry Powers after the cops beat him into a confession. And he is like
coerced, maybe?
He is literally like beat the shit out of him. I'm not even playing. I was like,
They
damn.
did things different back then.
Apparently.
Took the old leather piece, bam!
Apparently. So anyway, so they beat his ass, right? They beat his ass. And with this beating his ass, he basically confesses to a bunch of shit. He confesses to her disappearance. And there, like I said, there are pictures. He literally has black eyes and a big puffy face. And it's just like, it's crazy. So they do that. They also get a search warrant and they're like, we're going to go search your home because we want to know what the fuck. So they go to the house and they find that there's this garage and there's a basement. And so they're like, well, we're going to search here. They go in the basement and there's actually 4 rooms in the basement that he had created. And there was bloody evidence found in every single one of the rooms.
Different people's blood, I'm guessing.
So they wouldn't know because it's so.
Yeah, no DNA or anything, but that would be my guess.
Well, yeah, there's some suspicions that he's killed a lot more than what he's accused of.
Right.
As a matter of fact, well, we'll get into it later. So they found hair, blood-stained clothes, a footprint from a child, and a burned bank book in these rooms. And then while they're outside, they're looking around to see like if there's anything outside. They find like this whole like big ass area that's like fresh dirt. So they're like, okay, well, we're going to dig. So they dig up the dirt and they find the bodies of Asta, her 3 children, and Dorothy next to the garage outside.
Yeah, probably want to take him somewhere else.
And by the way, his wife's still living in the house, like living her life.
Creepy.
Asta and her 2 daughters and Dorothy had all been strangled. So all 3 of them had been strangled. However, Asta's son had been bludgeoned in the head with a hammer. And he was a little kid, by the way.
Yeah, he was probably pissed he didn't get the money. That's
no,
why.
he actually has a reason, supposedly. Now, they also discover a very large amount of love letters in the trunk of Harry's car. And this leads them to start to, as they're looking at things, they start to have suspicions that he was actually corresponding with his next murder victim. They just caught him before he could get to her.
Well, yeah, probably.
So when they question him about these things, he does admit to killing the 5 people that they found. He told the police that he had hanged Asta and her daughters first and had given her son the luxury of watching them. But in the middle of this scenario, he starts to scream because he's obviously fucking scared and wants to save his mom. So Harry he's afraid that the neighbors are going to hear. So he goes ahead and gets a fucking hammer and hits him in the head to kill him. And then when he's questioned about the items they found because again, they find all kinds of shit. They found items that did not match any of the victims that they found.
Right. So which means there's probably more.
So when they asked him about these, because again, he's admitted now to killing 5 people. So if they know there's more, right? His response to them was, well, you've got me on 5. What good would 50 more do?
Damn. Like, that's not an arbitrary number to somebody like that.
And I just sit there like, I fucking bet.
I'm surprised they didn't bring in old Beefcake Billy to fucking knock it out of him.
I'm like, okay, well, I'm guessing you probably killed close to 50 people because you literally just said that shit. Like, and again, hundreds of letters, love letters. He's corresponding with all these people. So on December 7th, 1931, he goes to trial for the murder of these 5 people. His trial starts on that day and it only lasts 5 days. He is convicted of all the crimes. And on December 12th, he is sentenced to death by hanging. Now, he is taken to the gallows.
And right before they should have hit him in the head with a hammer.
No shit, for real.
Yep.
He was taken to the gallows in Moundsville State Penitentiary on March 18th, 1932. He actually declined to make any final statement. And he was hanged and pronounced dead 11 minutes later. So it took him 11 minutes basically to die. He was repeatedly asked questions and he wouldn't say shit. Like, would not say shit. And they have like
it's the definition of taking it to the grave, right?
It is, for real. They have news articles from back in 1932, people who were actually there. And he, like, the description of him was that he was stone cold. He had no emotion. He literally just like Actually, at one point, they described him as he was standing there, because they stand there. And the warden asks him, does he have any last words? And he didn't say anything. But the spectators were like, he was literally like gawking at us, like staring, almost like staring at us, like, fuck you guys, like, you ain't gonna get shit from me type thing.
Staring into people's soul.
Yeah. And then they also had said that the town, when they found out that he had murdered these people, they were like protesting. It was like what they used to do with like the witch hunts, where they would go out and they'd like want to burn him
at the stake.
That's how they treated him. They wanted blood. They wanted blood from him, right?
Yeah. I mean, I want blood because he hit a little kid. I mean, yeah, he did the other shit bad. But he had a little kid with a fucking hammer.
I know.
That's why I said
him.
right before when he's like, that's when you boink.
Okay. Fucking gross. Do you want to know the shots? Because there are some.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Okay. So at the time that this whole thing was going on, because, we were talking about the Lonely Hearts column, the da-da-da-da-da. For an annual fee of $4.95 for a year for men,
which is a lot of money.
And $1.95 for women.
No wonder there were so many.
Yep. You could get a list of matches that you matched with, right? Through this company that you just hold on. And most of the matches and most of the people who use this were widowers or widows. So they were people who had already been married. They're
just trying to fill the void.
Now, this list would also include a description of their most attractive features. Not what they do for a living.
What did
what kind of person
what did he
they
put?
are. No, that's not what I was going to say. No.
He put all one-eye Willie.
He didn't put, actually, they didn't. I do have what he actually described himself as, but not his physical features. This company was actually called American Friendships. That's what it was called. So you could go to this company, pay them a fee, and they would hook you up with other widows, basically, or widowers. And the only thing they'd tell them about you is what your most attractive features are.
I think I would have to say my calves. They're nice.
I don't think I could say anything. I'm so self-conscious that I don't think I could give an attractive feature at all.
Like, wouldn't you just say my face?
I know. Like, I mean, what are you supposed to say? Like, I mean, I guess
I have a huge right bicep.
Like, yeah, because I'm sitting here going, what would I say? My attitude? Because that's what I like.
Oh, you were close.
Oh my God. Okay. Anyways, move on.
Your booty.
Okay. This is a PG show.
Right. With the words we say and the shit we talk about. I'm sure talking about your booty ain't fucking gonna turn people away.
Okay,
like,
so
how dare they?
So the ad that Harry would put into the Lonely Hearts column in particular, this is how he would do it. And I think he used this ad with the American Friendships group as well. So he claimed to be a wealthy widower. His wife was very, very much alive and very much creating a home for them. He was worth $150,000.
Whoa.
He had
that's why you had women coming out of the
Yes,
woodwork.
it is.
You gold digging
Oh no,
sons of
just
bitches.
wait. You'll
oh
fucking
my goodness.
Listen, I would have done it too. Fair fucking enough, because listen to what he tells you. He's worth $150,000. And he has income anywhere from $400 to $2,000 per month coming in every month. So not only is he worth a bunch.
It depends on who he kills and how much money he takes.
His profession was he was a civil engineer.
Oh.
He owned a beautiful 10-room brick home completely furnished that would make any woman happy. My wife, whoever his wife was going to be, would have her own car and plenty of spending money, and all she would have to do is enjoy herself.
And apparently her own room.
I'm just telling you, every woman, that would be, well, I don't know about everyone, because I know a lot of women who just want to work for a living. I don't.
Bro, I'm just listening to that going, oh my God, it's too good to be true. No shit.
Not necessarily.
Come on, ladies.
Not necessarily, because if there is somebody out there who's super... Okay, let's flip the role for a second. If you were at a job where you were making a shit ton of money, that would be my life.
Sure.
The only difference between what he put in here and what my life is the fact that we don't have a 10-bedroom home.
But guess what? I mean, I could put up some walls and have a 10-bedroom home, but what I'm... Listen, Linda. Yes, that's how you are now. But you were with me when I was broke. If you were to die and I were to go online, I would not describe myself by how much money I make and what I have, because that's all the girls are going to go for. So I'd talk about my personality.
No, the fuck you would not. No, you would not.
I'd be like, I drive a big old truck.
Yeah, you would. You would
You-
totally talk about what you have because you do that shit all the
'cause
time.
I don't want people to take it. You ain't going nowhere unless
Well, if
it's
I
in a
die-
body bag.
Yeah, what if I die?
I'm going with you.
Okay. So, anyways,
Better make room for two.
so that's how he described himself. So now you know, yes, why he had over 20 up to 20 correspondents a day is because these women were like, this guy, he was a sad widower. In their mind, he was a sad widower who had a lot of money and wanted to share it with somebody special.
I'm just saying.
Now, it is suspected that Harry had way more victims than the 5. Obviously, like I
threw
said,
out 50.
he threw out the number 50. So they have actually come out and said there is a chance that he killed 50 women because, again, he built that basement and there was blood in those rooms. But if you notice, only one of those victims actually died by bludgeoning. The other ones were all strangled, which wouldn't have blood all over.
Nope.
So there is a very high probability that, yes, that did happen. Now, again, the murder scene, like the actual murder scene, because this town, I don't even know what happened. Like this shit happened. They went crazy. It became like a legit spectacle to this town. So the murder scene, so the house, I'm assuming, local people sold tickets and souvenirs, like tickets to go see the house and then souvenirs of the house for a murder. Like, that's weird. His trial also was so crazy that they actually had to turn the local opera house into a makeshift courtroom so everybody in town could watch this shit.
Their pitchforks and their fucking
For real.
fire sticks.
Yeah, for real.
Not Amazon fire sticks. Come on. Think older. Sticks on fire.
Well, and again, he actually...
Torches.
He actually did try to get his sentence appealed or overturned right after he got sentenced because he said, literally, his lawyer was like, how the hell was he supposed to get a fair trial? Like, y'all fucking made the opera house the courtroom. Like, the public was legitimately so involved in this, you could never have gotten it.
How was he supposed to get a fair trial? Let's see. You had notes in your trunk and you had blood in your basement.
I mean, they found the bodies on his property. Yeah, of course he's going to. Like, of course he's going to get it.
Maybe it wasn't him.
So, yes, they made a big deal about how, like, his trial, his jury was tainted from the start. Which, to be fair, I mean, that is true. But, they found the fucking bodies on your property. You admitted to killing them.
Well,
you had blood in your
he probably admitted to killing them because he was getting his head
it's
bounced
true.
off the floor.
He got beat the shit out of, and I don't. They didn't say when he did, but I have this feeling it was after they found the bodies.
Oh, hell yeah.
That they went to him and was like, "You killed these women." He's like, "Nah." And he's like,
he was
"Really?"
like, I hit the kid with a hammer. I'd have bounced his head off the fucking bars.
He was stone cold up until the day he died. Like, he literally died stone cold. He didn't even, like, they also said, by the way, that when he died, like when he was hanged, he didn't even flinch. Like, you know, like nothing.
That's some gangster
Right?
shit right there.
I'm saying, I was like,
hanging,
God.
can you imagine he's hanging just staring at you?
Well, he had a black bag over his head, so you wouldn't know.
Like, that would be creepy as shit. Just straight into your soul, like the whole time, not flinching, not doing nothing, just until his last breath.
Yeah,
like, that shit would scar somebody.
Yeah, so he was, I mean, stone cold. Also, he had written a letter to the judge. So he did not talk to the judge. He did not ask for a stay of execution. Nothing. He literally just went there and fucking stood there and took his punishment, right? The judge went back to his office and found this note that had been delivered to him after he died. And it was a note that literally said, I did not do this.
And this is why we have internet nowadays.
There's no way you didn't do it, motherfucker. You
should have paid for priority delivery.
And then finally, Harry Powers' Murderers inspired a book that's called Night of the Hunter by Davis Grubb. And this actually was later turned into a movie as well. Although it is not a documentary, it is a Hollywood-style movie because I kind of saw some snippets. It's not even, it inspires. You got to remember, it inspired it. It's not exactly the same thing. It better
than that French film we watched.
We are definitely going to have to fucking watch it. I think I found it on you. There's a couple places I found it. Like, I definitely want to watch it. I have not watched it yet because I was waiting for you to come home from Asia. And so I want to watch it, but I already know going into it, it's not going to be like, oh, here's a documentary of Harry Powers.
Yeah, that French one was riveting.
That one was terrible. the one that I really liked was Ma Baker. The Ma Baker one. It was funny. It was funny.
You liked it because it was set back in the shit you love to watch.
It was old. It was olden days, but it was good. I thought it was funny. And they actually they did a pretty good job for back then of creating a movie that was very relatively close to the facts, honestly. But this one I don't think is going to even be remotely close, but I still would like to see what their version or the inspiration or whatever. So we'll end up having to
What's
watch
it called?
Night of the Hunter.
All right.
So we'll end up having to watch that.
And
But
those are the shots.
Those are the shots.
Well,
what is it with the people back in the late 1800s, early 1900s being fucking Blackbeards and killing a bunch of women?
I don't know.
This is the second one that we've done.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more out there.
Yes, they did the same thing where they lie. They meet women through Lonely Hearts columns. They lie and they kill them.
Women were lonely and needy.
Well, women are
lots of money.
Well, fucking yeah.
Because it was all about stature back then. So, yeah, of course these women wanted that. You know, I tease and joke, but yeah, I mean, these women wanted
they're
stature.
widows.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, because they're widows, yes, when their husband died, they probably got whatever their husbands had. Like, again, his one wife that he actually did marry, Luella, she had a fucking grocery store and a farm.
Yeah.
And so it's like they did have
and
it.
he didn't kill her because she was making the money.
But see, I don't know if these women actually wanted the money or if they wanted the companionship.
Yeah.
You know, even though his Lonely Hearts thing was, oh, I'm this millionaire. I don't know if that was the attractor or if because they've all been married before.
Well, they're probably thinking,
and to be fair,
look, I can get a companion and he's got money. So
I was going to say, to be fair, I married clearly for love because your ass was broke as shit when I met you. So I married clearly out of love.
You knew.
Or maybe because I had a baby with you, but whatever. It was something like that. And then now I'm sitting here going, if I ever get divorced,
you ain't finding nothing like this.
I'm not marrying for love ever again. Like, I don't want to deal.
No.
I don't want to do. If I marry again, if I get married again, I'm marrying for money.
Shit.
I will marry somebody that I can go into a business transaction with money is the way that we, whatever.
Yep.
I will. Even if that means I have to marry a woman to get money, like to have a business. Somebody that I know is just talking about how women, if they don't want to be with men, should get into legal partnerships and give each other their benefits. Like she was saying, like one could have maybe a house and the other one could have like really good benefits at work. And then you legally get married. And then, what's that movie with Adam Sandler that it makes me think of this when he gets married, when they get married Larry, I don't remember. Anyways,
it'll come to be in another episode.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. But that's what it makes me think of is that's what I would do. I would marry somebody that I was friends with, that I could that we could benefit each other in some way that has nothing to do with relationships or sexual or anything like that. Just literally like, what can you bring to the table and what can I bring to the table, and let's be friends. But also let's legally just be married.
You got some money in an Xbox? Come on in.
That's all you want is money and an Xbox? I have none of those. Why is that what you want?
You have an Xbox.
That's
we play all the time.
It's your Xbox
I have two,
that I borrow.
And I've given one to you.
Oh, okay. And I got the old one, so thank you.
On the big TV. Yeah.
Anyways.
Anywho.
That's the episode. That's Harry Powers.
If you like what you hear, follow us. Well, I hope you already follow us. But if you're new, follow us and go back and check out some of the other episodes. I think... if you want to skip past the first 3 or 4, that's okay.
Yeah, we're pretty rough.
We took a little bit to get into it.
We're a little rough.
So, we got our ups and downs. But
Jay in particular, you don't even hear his voice for like the first 4 or 5 episodes because he barely talks.
I had some good witty zingers in there, but definitely a lot more now. So here we are. This is what we do. This is who we are. Thank you for all the people, again, that follow us. Appreciate it. Spread the word.
And
we love it.
That's where we be. So this is the part where I say goodbye.
And I say bye-bye.